All right, let's jump right in. Today we're diving into a pretty provocative idea about the race for AGI, based on an article by Vinci Rufus. And the main argument? It's that we've been looking at this whole challenge from completely the wrong angle.
This one sentence, it's really the whole idea in a nutshell. It suggests that the path to true artificial general intelligence isn't about endlessly training a bigger and bigger model. Instead, we need to shift our focus to something that looks a lot more like classic systems engineering. So, to really get why this big shift in thinking might be necessary, we first have to talk about the problem. And the problem is, we seem to be hitting a wall. The source calls it the AI scaling plateau. Look, we've all been blown away by the huge leaps from models like GPT and Claude, right? But here's the thing. That insane pace of improvement, it's starting to slow down. Pumping more data and more compute into these models is giving us smaller and smaller gains. The old brute force approach is just running out of steam.
And this really lays it out perfectly. You've got two different paths we can take. On one side, there's the way we're doing things now. Just keep making models bigger, feeding them more data. But that's leading to diminishing returns. We're hitting that wall. On the other side, a totally different approach. Building smarter systems. This isn't about more power. It's about a new architecture, better system design, a completely new path forward.
So, what's really going on here? If just scaling things up isn't the answer anymore, it's probably because we're asking the wrong question to begin with. Think about it. These are the big, fundamental roadblocks that just throwing more power at the problem can't seem to solve. An LLM can't remember your conversation from last week, its memory doesn't actually evolve or learn from experience, and you definitely can't rely on it for complex multi-step tasks where just one little mistake can throw the whole thing off.
This is such a great analogy. The author draws a parallel to the chip industry back in the 2000s. They couldn't just keep cranking up the clock speed on CPUs. The chips would literally overheat. The solution wasn't more force, it was a smarter design, putting multiple cores on a single chip to work together. The argument is that AI is at that exact same turning point right now.
And that is the crucial pivot. The challenge isn't just a machine learning problem anymore, it's a systems engineering problem. It's not about perfecting the one raw ingredient, the model, it's about how you design the whole kitchen and the recipe to create something truly intelligent.
Okay, so if the old plan is busted, what's the new one? Well, the source material lays out a whole new blueprint for AGI. And it's not inspired by one giant monolithic brain, but by the complex, modular way the human brain actually works.
Pillar number one is context. But we're not just talking about the context window in a prompt. The idea is to build dedicated infrastructure, a system that maintains a persistent world model of things, people and relationships, and that model sticks around from one conversation to the next. Pillar 2 is all about memory. And again, this isn't just a database for storing facts, it's about engineering memory as a service, a system that acts like human memory. It can update its own beliefs when it gets new information, it can consolidate experiences into wisdom, and just as importantly, it can forget stuff that doesn't matter anymore. It's an active, living process.
Third, we need reliability. Right now, LLMs can be a little unpredictable. They're probabilistic. So the idea here is to build deterministic, meaning predictable, rule-based frameworks around them. Think of this framework as a super competent project manager. It can use the creative but sometimes wild language models as a tool for certain steps, but the manager stays in control, validates the work, and makes sure the final result is reliable and correct.
And the final pillar is specialization. The idea here is to ditch the quest for one giant model to rule them all. Instead, you create an orchestra of smaller, expert models. You'd have a model that's a genius at language, another one for symbolic math, one for strategic planning, each one doing what it does best, all coordinated by that larger, reliable system.
And look, this isn't just some high-level theory. There's an actual, concrete plan behind it. Let's walk through what this engineering roadmap could look like.
So the roadmap has 3 big phases. First, you build the foundation layer. That's all that core infrastructure for context, memory, and managing workflows. Then once you have that solid base, you move to the capability layer. This is where you start plugging in all those specialized models and reasoning engines. And here's the really cool part, the emergence layer. You don't build AGI directly. Instead, true general intelligence emerges from the incredibly complex interactions of all these carefully engineered parts. Kind of like how consciousness emerges from the brain.
So if this is the path forward, what does that mean for the whole race to AGI? Well, it completely changes the game. It means it's no longer about who has the most raw computing power.
And that's really the mic drop moment of the whole argument. The winners won't be the teams with the biggest hardware budget. They'll be the ones with the best architects and systems engineers. It's a race of ingenuity, not just scale.
Just let that sink in for a second. The core message here is that the models we have today, they might actually be good enough to serve as the building blocks for AGI. The real bottleneck isn't the AI's raw intelligence. It's our ability to design and build the sophisticated system around it.
And that leaves us with this final forward-looking question. It shifts our entire focus away from waiting for some magical, super-intelligent model to appear and puts it right back on the practical, essential work of engineering. It's a call to action for all the builders, architects, and systems designers out there.